back, and we got a little bit of an update on something that, honestly, we've covered kind of a few times as information has come out regarding it. And this, coming out's an appropriate term to use, we should say.
I think I got a good image for you to use on the screen for this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Turtle poking his head out of the water. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair, fair. But anyway, we've got a
There you go.
whistleblower that's come out of the Obama camp regarding the late chef Tafari Campbell and his family. It would appear that at the time of his mysterious drowning in 2.5 feet of water, while he was taking swimming lessons, I'll remind you, not just taking them, actually doing very well, looking possibly to be a competitive swimmer. Cough. But yeah, anyway, Tafari there when he fell out of that kayak and drowned in the 2.5 feet of water, mysteriously, on the Obama, property there at Martha's
I
Vineyard.
don't think it's very mysterious. He inhaled water.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's
It's
how it
pretty
happens.
straightforward. That's a drowning.
That'll do her. That'll do her to her. So anyway, apparently he had been working on a tell-all book that was planned to expose, according to the reporter here, the misdeeds of the Obamas. He's as we reported on at the time, and apparently other people are looking into this as well. Is that there was a potentially a years-long sexual relationship between him and Barry, and of course. This also comes not long after the Larry Sinclair allegations that kind of surfaced. Where that of course Larry Sinclair being like, "Oh yeah, no, we fucked around a whole bunch and did a bunch of blow and fucked a lot." That's and he was just incredibly
I mean,
matter of
I'd
fact
say you
about it.
don't say, but please don't say. I think it's more
Mhm.
like it.
Oh yeah, no, he had details, and feel free to look him up. I'm not going to subject you to that. Not everybody's into Chicago hot dogs, so I'll leave that one for you. But as it is currently, we have no suspect charged in the murder of Donald Young. The guy that was also supposed to have had this relationship with Obama. There's everything else. There's just a lot going on here. So I'll include a link to that. And of course the whistleblower. Well, not the whistleblower. The one breaking the news is a man by the name of Paul Blacano. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. See if we've got any more. But I'll include a link to a nice thread that's kind of a refresher on Obama and kind of related situations. But there was something else you would just mention before we went live, Craig. What was that you were talking about there?
Oh, talking about our good pal, rising star from the depths of World of Warcraft. Sorry, you never did Devin Blizzard. I don't know why you would think that. The second generation Marvel that is Pirate Software.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, we had spoken about the whole
We
thing last week,
went over him
and
last week, and that was probably about as much as we really needed to. But because need is not the necessity of want. So Slop News Network did a part 3 that came out just this week, and I thought that was a pretty good one, going over his hacking prowess
oh,
and how much of a fucking
his
liar he
lead
is when it
hacksaw
comes to
abilities. Is he a
yeah
system cracker?
him taking credit for certain things, and the whole code cave and polymorphic jargon drop he did. The guy's a fucking poser, and it's sad, but it is what it is. Um, he's been walking back a lot of the shit he's talked in the past, a lot of his exploits and expertise.
Hmm.
He's been walking that back and making some escape hatch room, just in case he has to say, "Oh, I never said that," which of course is, for a person who's recorded so much of his online presence,
Well,
that's
I
going to be an
wonder.
interesting thing for him.
That brings a thought to mind. Could it
Uh-huh.
be that he's using the voice changer so that he can actually say that legitimately? Like at the end, like, "Oh no, sorry guys, I didn't say any of that at all. That was some other person that was acting like me."
Oh my god, that's got to be one of the funnier things about him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to poke fun at a man's voice, but there's,
Well, it's
it's like
one
the,
thing.
it's
It's
like
one
the,
thing when you got somebody that's just that accepts it. You can make a little bit of fun of Mike Tyson, not a lot, and not to his face, but you can make a little bit of fun of Mike Tyson. But and he doesn't go to pains
it's
side. It's
just,
like I like pigeons. I like smoking weed, and that's the way it is. And if you don't like my list, I'll fucking kick your ass. I'll fucking kill you.
well,
Okay,
look,
well, fair.
he's like the guy in prison, the bodybuilder named Tiny.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, basically.
it's yeah, the funny thing is there was that claymation fighter from Clay Fighter named Tiny that was the bodybuilder. Like, it was
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just
that
kind
kind
of the
of that
meme.
kind of lore is built right into kids games. Oh, the '90s was fucking awesome. But yeah,
That it
it's
was.
it's just
That it was. Oh, quick update on the '90s, by the
yeah.
way,
Go ahead.
because I because I don't have more than
Well,
that.
they've been. They're no longer going to.
Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, no. We are to be revisited by ghosts of
The '90s
'90s
will happen
past.
again in 70 years.
Unfortunately, no. It's looking like it's going to be happening in
Very different '90s,
2027.
but
If you haven't heard, live action Captain Planet.
yes, I have.
And
I heard
that's
about
it.
that.
That's all I got for you. But other than
Yeah, it's not a
why?
whole lot more than that, except it exists as a
Why?
concept. Now that said, there's a different live action, another one that was coming up that has an actual casting update, and that is Legend of Zelda,
Indeed. Indeed.
and
It would
the
appear
Troons are
that
all in
now,
a tizzy.
yeah, it would appear that somehow people people
They
bought the
memed into
meme.
existence the thought
Well,
that
no,
the
no, no, they bought the
casting.
old meme that like, well, Link's a girl, so they were thinking that, and they just didn't do their research, and the people at Nintendo were like, no, that's a meme. Link is a boy, Zelda's the girl, because there's
You
only
see,
two
so
sexes, of course, obviously, or genders, whichever you prefer to use, because it's exactly the same thing, and
well, but no, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole because you don't need to bring up the pedophile sexologist. Um,
well,
so
neither here nor there, Harvey
exactly.
Milk
So
aside.
yes. So anyway, Troons had seemed to meme into existence the thought that a tranny was going to be in the casting call for Zelda, Princess Zelda,
Hmm.
and nah, never was going to happen. Just flat out wasn't even in the picture. And so they all got disappointed and angry over something that wasn't ever going to happen. Which, sad day for you. Get over it. It's not your fucking show.
Hmm.
And that's where a lot of the cope came in with the meme, of course, that somehow Link is female,
Right.
which is just not true.
Funny enough,
Or
actually
that
not going with
it's
the meme I'm
fucking
talking
wild.
about because that shit's basically just been forgotten by now.
Right.
Which
So
is,
anyway, the
isn't it
um the,
ironic?
the thing is, they're like, this person was born to be Zelda. It's like, no, that is significant surgical modification and not someone who looks like Zelda.
Yeah, two things. Also,
Sorry, like it looks like a fucked up surgical experiment. It does
like
not look like
now,
Princess
if
Zelda.
that individual was, say, wanting to play one of those
Something
otherworldly
Schaefer.
type elves that you see in some movies, that would work.
Yeah, maybe it could have been one of the orcs in Lord of the Rings.
Maybe, maybe,
Um, a little bit of darkening up with makeup.
or one of those Lords of the Fallen or what have you. Something.
It could have been one of the vampires from Lost Boys. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Prettier than David, for a boy. That is.
fucking truckers.
Well, speaking of people sticking their nose where it doesn't belong, we should probably
Right.
move right along into the related topic of
Please do.
payment processors and
Yes.
fucking around and making life difficult for
And
everybody.
hopefully soon finding out.
We'll see.
So over the week, near the weekend earlier than later, Steam took down a bunch of games. Now, admittedly, some of the games, actually, the vast majority of the games they ended up taking down, I don't really feel the need to bother with. Like, they're not my style, they're not my thing. A lot of adult games.
But
And the thing is that it's still going to affect games I do like.
They first came for the communists, and I wasn't a communist. Well, that one doesn't actually work.
Well, those aren't people.
Exactly. But, first they came for the gamers, and I wasn't a gamer. Well, I am.
First they came for the fucking weird people that play these games.
Yeah, first they came for the weird
and I wasn't
gamers.
one of them. Yeah, I'm a normal gamer, as abnormal a person I am. My games don't involve like weird adult fetish content, so I'm not really, a lot of that content I'm not really that upset to see go. But at the same time, like, I know exactly where this shit's going, and I know the kind of groups of people that are forcing payment processors into this position, let alone from the outside, also on the inside. So the major one that is causing these problems now, it's going to be laid blame on PayPal and this group, Collective Shout, this feminazi group, Collective Shout, which I guess is originally something or another of Australia. Well, we'll get to that in a moment.
On that, too.
Just a moment. No, in a moment.
Oh, there's a lot to cover here on this specific topic.
But but the major issue you have that drove PayPal's policies to the point where they are, that was subsequently used to stymie content on Steam, is MasterCard, and then their little lapdog Visa, who just kind of hobbles along later on and adopts the same content policies because why the fuck not?
Mm-hmm.
And where this all boils back to is their major investors, which agree with them full-heartedly, that'd be BlackRock and Vanguard. All of this is to push the ESG shit, and it's the same exact gobbledygook that came from the very start of this. This is all under the social part of ESG, environment, social, and governance. So groups like Collective Shout will come in, or like say SBI.
Yeah, Sweet Baby.
So
another great example.
Right. Yeah. So these groups will come in and they will help fulfill through either activism or
real quick to add some clarity. SBI is more of a back-end games side of thing, whereas Collective Shout is more of a back-end payments.
So through activism or through consulting, activism consulting here. So activism would be Collective Shout, consulting would be SBI.
Yes.
So activism is where they create the need for the social score, and the consulting is where they then pull the fucking money for the consulting from the social score. So they first create the need, and then they fulfill the need, and they get kickbacks to each other.
What am I saying? I'm silly. That's the knowledge gap.
No, this is more like Freddy Krueger than Dunning-Kruger.
No, it's the Keynesian economics. Sorry.
Yeah. So again, this is they create the need and they fulfill the need, and there is that aspect of it which is very capitalist, which is very fucking funny for all these champagne socialists. This group, Collective Shout, they decided they're going to come in and start leveraging their ability to be annoying, and the fact that MasterCard, whose policies are forced on PayPal, whose policies are now forced on Steam, and they are going to be. And now, keep in mind, this is a group of deranged feminazis that is so out of the loop. They think all anime is porn to start with, which that includes things like Dragon Ball Z, which is about as mainstream of anime as you can get. So they just think it's all porn, which, I mean, some of it you can't really argue with them too much, but at the same time, it's not really up to them what adults consume as far as content. And yeah, kids are going to lie. That happens. That's par for the course. But kids also have parents.
Oh, that they do. And cultures have different
it's their
things
fucking
that
job.
are acceptable as well. So who the fuck are you, colonizer, to tell Japan what their culture can and cannot be?
Yeah, beyond that, though, it's the parents' fucking job. It's not fucking Collective Shout's job. They're Australian feminazis. They can stick to the little fucking island.
Yeah,
You know,
if you really want it
I
that way,
nothing but love for my Australian brothers out there, but at the same time, you know, you got to rope these kind of insane people. Like they've got so many fucking problems in Australia as far as dealing with their government censorship. I don't need any of that shit spreading off across the ocean. Just stay there and fuck off. Like if
Yep.
this is the last thing that they need to export. They need to start exporting good shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, these feminists are like their beer. It's just not good.
Mm. That, and to be fair, much like their very famous beer, these feminists they come in a very large package. So there's that too. But anyway,
Fair, but you know, if you want a large package, you can always just get some Keystone's Best.
well, you can, but I mean,
You can
well,
have Daddy Light or Bush.
these feminists, they're known for either having a large package or coming in a large package. Either way.
Now look. If you need Bush or Bush Light, those are domestic beers in the United States. You don't need to go to a foreign country to get
Yeah,
Bush.
you don't. Yeah, you don't want to get your. If I'm really tempted to make a beer from
There's so many
Poland joke,
in this.
but we'll avoid the pole related jokes
You're
here.
you're trying real hard not to pull out the German anthem, aren't you?
It's there's whatever. Anyway, that said, man,
I lined a lot of that up on purpose.
I am going to dial the puns back just 1 degree, not 33 degrees.
One at a time.
Anyway, so related, there is actually a solution proposed to this, at least over here, but if it goes through over. No, like legitimately.
Yeah.
That is to be the Fairness in Banking Act. It's H.R. 987 in the House and Senate Bill 401.
Yeah.
So contact your representatives. Let them know that they should be supporting these things, because if it falls here, that's kind of it.
Well, they'll have an example of a success that they can point to when it comes to later use cases, and there won't be a whole lot. Like the thing is, a competent, intelligent company would say, well, that doesn't mean anything if your product is still shit. And a normal person would go, yeah, that makes sense. But when you're dealing with companies that are dealing with cover your ass as their basis, instead of rational thought, like there are ways that they can leverage these kind of successes well beyond what you might expect, and that's the main problem here. Is they're going to press that advantage, whether or not you like it or not.
That is kind of the way of things. And since we should probably just go ahead, and since we're on the topic of craziness in the Japanese, we should probably hit on the the bottle from Japan. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah,
came out today.
The Corona.
Yeah. They're Japanese
the one that is shaped.
Kinji Abe has designed a glass bottle that is well suited for sticking into sand. Only the sand. Don't put it anywhere else.
Well, no, there are some people with some very sandy areas of their body. In fact, we were just talking about several of them, feminists.
Yeah, so just don't. Just don't. You'll see.
Well, you know, their ER techs across the country groaned when they saw that. You know, the number of people who were just bored is going to go up over the weekend, I'm sure.
So yeah, there's that. Don't.
It's funnier that you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, just don't. So,
you know, you can give sanguine, sane advice like that, and it's going to be taken by exactly the number of people who you think it will be taken by.
Well, you know, the folks that listen to our show, they'll probably take that advice.
They're the kind of people who are probably not going to be needing to take that advice in the first place.
Probably not. Probably not. But, you know, one can hope. One can hope that we reach the audience we need to reach so that someone can be, so that
Go
everyone
ahead.
can be safe. And, you know,
Uh-huh.
we don't get to see videos of your bad mistakes and all die a little inside as we watch it happen to someone as they die inside, actually. But that said,
Well, there are examples made for
there are.
all of
I
us.
would not advise anyone to look them up, but they're out there. They're out there, and
They teach
just
valuable
don't,
lessons.
just don't. You know, just don't. And you know what else you shouldn't do? You should also
So,
not.
how would you describe the shape of it,
I
Evan?
smooth. I would say that
Would
it
you
is
say? Would you
smooth,
say it's? Would you say it's a shape?
bulbous,
The shape
even.
of.
It is
Would you
smooth
say
and
it's?
bulbous.
Would you say it's the shape of things to come?
I hope not. I sincerely hope not. Ah, oh, man. I got no segue on that, but I've got the next story. I got no segue there. Oh, because that's a disaster. And this is actually the opposite of a disaster somehow.
Oh my
Uh, but
god.
as an update on something that we had spoken of, now at the time, I thought that there was this giant, tall, fat woman and also this giant, fat man that the Democrats had hired.
As opposed to a giant fat tall man or woman.
Yeah, yeah, it was actually just a giant, fat, tall woman that looked incredibly
Okay.
mannish in some of her pictures. My mistake, just, you know, clarifying. Anyway, a Miss Olivia Juliana has reportedly been dismissed from the DNC's Young Male Voter Outreach Coordination Program for
Oh
for some
no,
reason. Who could
not
say
her.
why? Isn't that weird?
But
I
she
mean, they
was
only
doing
put
such a good
$20 million
job.
into it.
She was doing such an amazing job.
Yeah, I mean, with such hits
Her
as
her goal was to make it so that nobody ever voted Democrat again, right?
well, that makes a lot of sense. But why would the Democrats have been paying her? Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. $20 million
It
gone.
might have been somebody with a cheeky, attitude who thought that maybe they could actually help the country.
Yeah, you never know. Oh, and speaking of people with cheeky attitudes thinking they can help the country, we can roll back to our opener, as a matter of fact. And
Uh huh.
not directly related, but pretty closely. That being that we have other whistleblowers coming out about the Obama
All right.
administration. This via Tulsi
Well,
Gabbard.
there's the empowering black masculine role commentary that came out of. Actually, it is appropriate to say it came out of Obama's ass. Um,
Oh, right. Yeah, he did have something to say on a way that children and their future
I felt
could be well
it's so
shaped
fucking frustrating.
and
Like
guided. You know, with the
it's
hands
so
of
disturbing.
adults, of
It's so disturbing and frustrating
the
for
firm
black men.
grip
Like
of adults.
you can see how like there are things that they say, and then you see like the responses from black men in social media, and you feel the frustration that they very clearly articulate, and you don't have a lot that you can say that'll help, and it's frustrating on that side, for just to watch it, but like it's got to be incredibly alienating to see that kind of cancer come out of their mouths and not have like and know that like if you speak out against it, you're just going to be kind of screaming into the void. Like there's not a lot of positive result that comes out of saying, "Hey, this is not okay."
Seemingly,
It seems like it kind of gets just screamed into the void. That it goes away, and they just come out and start saying the same shit again, like the next day. Hey, kids ought to be hanging out with gay pastors or whatever. Like, no, they shouldn't.
Yeah, probably not. Actually,
It's like, yeah, as a
probably not the
matter of
best
fact,
thing.
we've done enough research on this where maybe that's not a positive experience for them.
Yeah, we've kind of
Maybe that's
learned that.
explicitly a bad experience.
Yeah, yeah, it seems to be.
Maybe
Seems to
that's what
be.
we spent like half the '90s talking about. How that's explicitly terrible idea. Maybe the church did a lot of PR to fix exactly that problem.
They certainly tried. They certainly tried.
Maybe that was a explicitly bad idea.
You could say that. You could say that that would be an unwise position to hold, perhaps.
Maybe it's not a place for the boys to be hanging out. Is with the you know
The men who like boys.
these right.
Who could imagine how anything could go wrong in such a situation, right?
It's just kind of a let's not do that. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And just
kind of a
on a quick
why did you suggest that kind of a thing?
on the note of Barry here, I'll go ahead and include something that, for some reason, many parties went to a great deal of trouble to remove from the internet. So I'll just include that there as well for anybody to, peruse at your leisure.
Indeed.
So, do I have a? Yeah, and I could segue into the. Yeah, why not? Why don't we do that? Because there's a lot of Obama news. Because that's not all.
Oh,
That's
bummer.
just his own gaffe. Above and beyond that, we've got not
Gaff is
just
a strong word
whistleblowers
for
related
that.
to chefs. As a matter of fact, looking into the papers, it looks like there were quite literally treasonous acts performed by Obama and
Yeah,
people at the top at the time.
and Clinton.
Yep. So, let me see here. Let me see if I can find the article on that. Because
Not that I enjoy bringing up that hag.
there's a lot here. Also, a lot on Epstein, which
So,
we
so
will
I
get to.
saw a wonderful post earlier.
Ah,
That
found it. Here
someone
we go.
said to DeSantis, why don't you take care of, or why don't you stop doing whatever and start doing more to get the Epstein files out? It's like, had you been paying attention, he went ahead and quoted him and showed a picture of him signing into law the bill to release any and all information about Epstein that we had here in Florida.
Yes,
So,
indeed. And related to that as well,
yep.
there's a a renewed effort to find any and all Epstein files that are out there.
Yes, there is. Finally,
Hmm.
someone got the president the memo on whole, promises made, promises kept kind of shit. You're gonna stick out your golf club into the lightning storm on that one. You may as well like do what you said.
Indeed, but back to the previous point here, since
Yes,
we should probably finish that out because there's a lot to cover on this whole Epstein
please
thing.
do.
Quite a few things have occurred. So, what we've got in unsealed information here as well, we've got a report out of the ICE. Well, it's from Greg Price, but it's out of the IC related to that Obama directly ordered the intel community to conclude that
Oh
the
yes, yes, he did.
Moscow thing, that there was Russian influence in the 2016 election. There was not. They found there was not. Their reports stated as much. And so Barry just said, well, you need to fix your reports then, because that's what they need to say. And they did, of course.
Yep,
And so that's kind of
yep,
where our
yep.
issues are here. So that's just one. And there's rather a lot there. Above and beyond that, we have Comey lying under oath on the Russian election bullshit, which
Yep.
he worked with Barry on.
And Brennan and Clapper and
Yeah, there's a lot of folks who've got a lot of culpability in the current climate. Well, in any
I'm
climate,
hoping
really.
is that
Now that people are kind of out for blood, well, there's
kind of
blood in the
hoping
water.
that there's spills, metaphorically.
Hmm. But on the other point we were making here, we should probably talk about that. So we've got, well, real quick one. Uh, the U.S. and I can't remember who else, but two countries have rejected the WHO pandemic measures. So, quick update there.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle the whole IHR updates because those are kind of pressingly needed as far as finishing them up.
Hmm. True.
There's IHR 2005 is the one that's currently operational. I think there was supposed to be 2016, and still supposed to be 2016. You know what I mean?
Yeah, funny how time flies.
Where is it? Yeah. So I mean, it's. I understand these things take time. I'd rather have them spend the time and do them right than to rush through them and fuck it up, kind of like they did in 2005. So, I guess I'm okay with them still being underway.
Well, and speaking of things that are underway, we've got another update on the Epstein situation, an interesting one, no less.
Uh-huh.
To me personally, to you, probably to most of our audience, it won't be all that interesting, but I know we get a couple of people that manage to filter in from elsewhere, and they might find this fascinating. And just reading from the CNBC title here, FBI agents were told to flag any Epstein records that mention Trump, Senator Durbin says. Now, that's not a current thing. So, during the review of these Epstein files, this was, long and short, there was an ongoing request to flag or make note of any Trump-related anything in any of the files. Now, it doesn't seem like there's been much to that, and past history kind of indicates that there won't be. I'm open to that being wrong. Wouldn't be the first time, but as it stands, it kind of looks like the man himself doesn't have any skeletons related to that island or any of the particular Epstein properties. That said, maybe he's got some friends. I would be completely unsurprised if that's the case. Maybe there's some important people in positions of government on every single side of everything that would maybe ruin everything if they all fell. Well, I kind of don't care. And I would rather rebuild without these compromised people in the first place anyway. So, let the chips fall where they may.
So, tangent. I see Bats in the chat, and I see you didn't recognize what he was talking about. So, Grok, we've been having fun. So one of the fun things I do is I have him translate things to Pidgin and then African American vernacular English, and then Pig Latin. And it's funny, just randomly, hey, translate that to Pidgin. Then, hey, translate that to AAV. Then, hey, translate that to Pig Latin. And Bats said, explain this in the voice of a flamboyant homosexual, and it worked very well. it did a very, very good job of that. So yes, you can have Grok speak as a flamboyant homosexual, in addition to a street thug screaming ebonics at you.
Well,
now, I don't know if it could do both yet because I haven't asked, but that's kind of on the very short to-do list. Translate this to AAVE and give it a flamboyant homosexual flair. Will probably be the next prompt. But yeah,
so
Grok kind of got turned back on.
Thugnificent kind of vibe.
Right.
Gotcha.
Like a little Bow Wow kind of vibe.
Oh, okay. So kind of an
Although
like
that's more
like
that's
some
that's actually more of a
like an
Beaver
early
story
Diddy
than it is.
aesthetic.
Yeah, there you go. Explain this like P Diddy. There. Minus the oil.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so Grok kind of has been so the kind of per thread cap that it used to have, where you get like 10 or 20 prompts and then it just kind of stops responding to you. It seems to have been raised a little bit. There was a ridiculous mega thread that I was in
Yeah,
this
I
week.
have unfortunately noticed. And I asked it twice not to tag me again. That was
Well, you see, here's the
not
wonderful thing
worthwhile.
about it is it is a LLM, so all it can do is complete the prompt when you are upset at it. It will be apologetic because that's what humans would otherwise do in a polite society, is they'd be apologetic towards you for being so upset with them. It doesn't mean it actually does anything as far
No,
as
it
its
did.
activities
It
because
absolutely did
it's an
until
LLM.
somebody else tagged me.
No, it was gonna tag you anyway.
Oh, well, sorry.
It's not in
Until
control of
another
that part.
instance tagged me. Either way, it is what it is. Whatever.
Okay, so I drilled that enough. Back to back to the Epstein whistleblower fun times.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot. There's also, unfortunately, not a whole lot because
Well,
a
so
lot
there's
of a lot
interesting
of the
stuff
Epstein
going on
stuff
with
is
Tulsi then.
related to the drama itself. We don't. There's not a lot we can actually give you, other than that there seems like there's finally some fucking movement on it, which is
Yeah,
good because
it
all of
seems
a
like he's come
sudden this
back to it.
guy that kind of ran on the fucking thing just one day is like, oh yeah, no, that thing that I was talking about, nah, that's fucking bullshit. I don't know why you're talking about it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, only former supporters who are bitter about Trump would be bringing up Epstein, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that whole ship sailed and died so quickly. Thankfully, I think he had a staffer that maybe clued him in that shit doesn't work in the
that
internet age.
that is true. There's the baby's first conspiracy theory of, and it really is because everyone involved in every aspect of this is really fucking stupid. So this is incredibly plausible, sadly, that Donald Trump put forward the most ridiculous and completely unbelievable. No, I cured cancer, and that's a good thing, so that they would all be like, well, we all love cancer. And as fucking stupid
No,
as that is, they're that fucking dumb that we actually could be in a one-dimensional chess game here, where it's just like, oh,
but that's
you
definitely not
you
what
don't want
happens.
that. Well, I also don't
That's,
want that. Now you want that. And the
that's definitely
saddest
not what
part
happened.
is,
I wish it was right, but it's
but
not.
the thing is, we can't actually eliminate that from the list of possibilities.
But
They're
it's
really
so
that dumb.
obvious that was not it. It was so
Yeah,
obvious
it
that
seems
was
like
not what
not
was
because
going
he
on, though.
legitimately did seem to be getting upset about it.
Yeah, he was all frustrated about it. It's like, you
That
know what? No,
said,
motherfucker.
I mean, he is an actor. He's not a good actor, but he is an actor. So
He's
maybe.
not. He's no fucking Reagan. You know what I mean?
No,
He's
no,
not gonna.
well, actually, to be fair, he kind of is. Lately. Oh, Ronald
Uh,
Trump.
uh,
But
not
that
positive
said, a
way.
lot of folks have spoken out against this amnesty idea, and it seems that the folks that talk to him are listening. So, don't be a
Yeah.
Ronald, be a Donald.
Right. So on the subject of disclosures,
Yes.
Tulsi
Oh, well, real quick, since Trump
dropping
did
in.
get all pissed off about this and pissy about it, a few days ago we had an
Yeah.
order to release all grand jury testimony related to Jeffrey Epstein.
True.
Thanks,
Yes.
Don. How hard was that?
Finally. Yeah. Really.
Anyway, yeah.
So
What were you saying there, sir?
in similar time there, DNI Tulsi Gabbard, um, director of DNI, she's come out and she's going after, speaking of Brennan and Clapper and so forth, and
Mm-hmm.
Hillary Clinton.
Criminal
Um,
conspiracy case.
yeah. So here's the nice thing about all of that. Right now, they are retired on our dime.
Mm-hmm.
They are getting taxpayer funds for life, for having served, and basically the government equivalent of an honorable discharge, serving without getting any corruption charges, any felonies, any of that nonsense. If they are convicted in a probe like this, if they go through trial and they get convicted of whatever, they lose their pensions, their government pensions. We no longer have to pay them to exist after a situation like that. They then have to go and fend for themselves off of either the money they've already siphoned from tax dollars, you and I, um, or other monies that they have saved up or would have to earn. Like I really could not wish for a better result than that if they were just cut off and they had to go fend for themselves. It should not be our job to pay for these assholes. They did not serve their country. They actively fucking harmed it.
Absolutely.
And the fact that Clapper and Brennan, those pieces of work, were never fucking held to account for lying to the public repeatedly, flagrantly. Um, the whole "no one is above the law" shit. This is where they can go ahead and stick it.
Indeed. Indeed they can. And
This
you know, there's there's somewhere else
be the
that,
bare
that something
minimum.
like this has kind of happened. Where the
Yeah.
when you're just pushing these things so hard and it just not a good seller. Perhaps, you've, I don't know, say ruined an American institution. Like, I don't know, The Late Show, for instance. And you end up getting it canceled because you're losing $40 million a year.
Oh
Stephen.
yeah, that's a
So,
wonderful
yeah,
story, isn't it?
little update there. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert has been losing many millions of dollars a year. Some fucking how. And,
What was the staff size? 200 people couldn't keep that fucking thing afloat.
wow. It's,
That's amazing, isn't it?
it's funny when you're not funny. What happens? Isn't it?
Well, I still say it's the funniest thing he's done in his career is to get fired for
Uh,
being
yeah.
for being unfunny. It's it's one of those great catch-22s, man. It's a full-on fucking paradox. The funniest thing he's done in his entire career is get fired for being unfunny.
Mm.
Because 200 people, he and a 200 staff search party couldn't find his fucking asshole.
Yeah,
Oh man,
they just couldn't put
because
out a a product that people want. It's just
he just sucked so bad.
oh, I know exactly. Let me just find this very quickly here. I'll go to
Uh-huh.
YouTube and I will type in vaccine. Oh look, it auto
Yes,
completes to Colbert.
you know.
Let me just
So I had to explain. I had to explain to my older brother the vaccine. He's a doctor himself. And I explained to him, this is the shit that they are doing, during COVID. The vaccine, SCENE scene.
Mm-hmm.
The bunch of fucking syringes dancing around on stage. It's like I just explained to him, it's like this is the kind of guy that makes my job. When I was the health and safety kind of guy, made my job convincing people to just go talk to their fucking doctor that much harder. That I had to fucking compete with that shit.
Yeah, yeah. We
And like
well, the whole
because
fucking show that we do here had to compete with that shit.
Well, here's the thing: is he being a person who was like in charge of dealing with COVID shit at his hospital, like the whole like TikTok dancing nurses kind of thing, like for the boxed in worldview that he had. Keep in mind, they're dealing with horrible shit in hospitals. For what he was dealing with, that wasn't so bad because that was like a pressure relief for the people dealing with horrific shit. Whereas external to the hospital, external to the healthcare environment, people were seeing this like while they're dealing with lockdowns where they're not dealing with people who are dying on a daily basis, and it looked egregious. And so I remember having that conversation with him where he's like, "What? It seems harmless to me." I was like, "It's not. It's not doing any PR service for the people outside of that scenario. It's kind of actively
Kind of
harming
paints a
some of
bit of a
that."
bad picture.
Right, but that's the thing is it was used in a way where it painted a bad picture where it shouldn't have really painted much of any picture.
Well, fair, but also, well, we reported on it all as it happened. I would encourage
Yeah,
anyone to go back and check out some of our older episodes because we were very frank and very honest at the time and tried to give the most up-to-date science and information. And
yeah.
you will notice a stark difference in our coverage of the events as they unfolded compared with generally any contemporary talking head. Even
Yeah,
at
sure.
our even at our most conspiratorial in that period, we had sources for everything. Oh, and by the by, just to clarify, we've got from Veritas the J and
Yeah.
J also not really all that safe. Maybe, maybe not. The takeaway from that
Well,
one,
of the three of them, that was the one that was the adenovirus, and that was also like the one that was more likely to give blood clots.
well, yes and no, yes and
Um,
no. That one had
just,
that one
just,
had a
just
couple
off
of
of
very
the
specific danger factors, and if you hit them, you're in big danger. And then the
right.
random
So
side of it,
it's the same way that so like your birth control kind of
yeah, that
risk.
specifically with the J and J, it's like a
I
couple of
was
different birth control formulations were
Well, birth control
deadly.
comes to about 1 in 3,000 as far as the risk goes for developing a blood clot.
Well, yeah, but in this case,
And if you want to put it in
it was
context,
basically
it's
deadly
way less
with the
than that.
two of these together.
Well, that's the thing is on its own, J&J, the risk of say a blood clot is way less than that of birth control, which is seen as an acceptable risk among women, which by itself is kind of wild. Um, just think of your day to day. Gee, am I going to have to deal with this shit kind of risk? And women who are on birth control, 1 in 3,500 chance of getting a blood clot
Mm-hmm.
that day.
Yeah, an internal one. That
Or,
is to
well,
say.
it's on. Well, I say that day. It's over the course of your treatment total.
Sure.
But still, it's like on any given day, it's like that is a background thought process you could have. That's an intrusive thought you could have is, oh geez, my leg is having a cramp. Maybe that's DVT going on. Not to make everyone else's day that much worse if you're listening, but like that's just wow. That's a fun. I've got my own set of that kind of annoying background intrusive thought. Uh, everyone's got their own set, but that's not one of mine. Do I want to have kids or do I want to risk having a stroke? It's like
Yeah, that's the
tough
thing.
one.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and DVTs and strokes, both blood clots,
But
right?
again,
So
that was in that specific case known And as things go,
Right.
it still seems like that was the safest one. There was a this all happened kind of early last week,
And
and
well, it's
there's not been a
remember,
lot to it because
remember that a lot of this came down to how it was administered, and that was actually a major factor in whether or not there was a risk associated with it.
no, yeah, but
And
I
that was
mean
something that
specific to the J and
Steve
J.
and I hashed out. Um, was that it was really largely a risk of bad injection. Like
Now,
that was
unfortunately, we
boiled
have
down to
actually
a lot of it.
learned that it migrates on its own above and beyond that. But that not the J and J, the mRNAs. But that's a whole nother thing. Which
Yeah.
people need to go to
Well,
court
so
over.
that's the thing is it has a half life. It's basically gone after a couple weeks.
Well, not really, really.
No, that's known. That's definitely true. It's basically gone after a couple weeks.
Kind of, but the zombie still
It's a
remain.
well. There's a population difference. The average is that after 2 weeks, it is gone.
Sure,
Period.
and the zombie cells remain to whatever end that will
You
be.
say zombie cells, but you see the cells break down the mRNA. That's how cells work. If they didn't, you'd have a shit fuck ton of mRNA in every cell of your body and hardly any functional DNA left.
And that
You just
might
wouldn't
be
have
one
the
of the reasons why
nucleotides
there's
left
so much
over.
trouble with this one because it doesn't break down as
No,
things ought to.
it does. It
It
absolutely
could.
does break down.
Yeah, well, whatever. We'll have to go over that with some actual papers or something.
I
Anyway,
say, show me the paper and I'll look at it.
I kind of think there are some, but I don't have anything at hand, and that's tertiary
That's
to everything
all
at the
right.
moment
That's
anyway.
fair.
But not well. This isn't tertiary. This is just another topic. That being, we got some good news. This one out of PepsiCo.
All
We've
right.
got two actually rounds of news here. The first one coming out just a few days ago, actually just yesterday. That is that artificial dyes and flavors will be removed from Lay's and Tostitos chips, which that's
Okay.
awesome. That's great. If they can, get rid
Oh,
of the,
that's interesting.
if they can fry in a real oil, well, you'll have a customer back. Which
Uh,
if big if.
oh, so one of the advantages of frying in certain oils is that they don't break down very readily and become toxic.
Oh yeah, a
And
great example. A
whereas certain,
great example of that is comparing and contrasting soy oil and olive oil. Soy
well, let
oil,
me give you a. Okay, go ahead.
well, soy oil you
Soy
can
oil.
heat up to very very high temperatures. It's going to remain completely stable. It's not really going to do anything. It's going to be what it was when you started. It's going to cook your food. It's not going to impart anything other than, soy. Olive oil can become somewhat carcinogenic if you get it too hot. So you have to be careful. And it just is. You've got a top limit on how hot it can get. So there are
Uh,
some foods you're not going to be able to fry. Period.
right.
Just as a real easy,
Well,
gross set of examples.
the thing I was going to bring up here is that there's the easy conflation between natural and healthy. And natural belladonna is fantastic for taking out people you don't like.
Oh,
So,
a hemlock too.
right, exactly. So the idea that just going back to natural food dyes is going to somehow make food healthier is already kind of suspect. But it's not a bad thing to change up products every so often. That's not what I'm not like against using natural ingredients here. It's just that
Yeah, and to be fair, we do
the
kind
notion
of
that you
inundate
just have
ourselves with a
to.
little bit too many chemicals.
Well, it's gonna make me fucking pitch a fit if you keep going down that road.
I'm not wrong. I'm just not being specific.
Uh-huh. Being
Anyway,
fucking vague is what you are being.
maybe a little, but I'm not wrong.
There's the being technically correct is the best kind of correct kind of situation going on.
Yeah, it might be, but I mean, people generally know what I'm talking about. Preservatives, additives, and that sort of weird shit.
But you say weird shit as if it's gonna not be food at the end.
Well, I mean, it wasn't food when it started. It was added to food. So, the food part's
Well,
still
sure,
food.
but a tuber in the ground that would kill you if you left that out in the sun isn't food until you cook it. Except it is. It's just called potato.
Well, yeah, and you can blanch acorns. I know. But
Right.
anyway, speaking of blanched acorns, let's get it back to PepsiCo. So, I have no idea how that segues, but I like it.
Well, there's a testicles joke in there, I believe. We'll leave it at that.
Well, I'm about to talk about Donald Trump, so it definitely is. So, after talking with Don Treasy, their top executives have said that they might be switching from high fructose corn syrup over to sugar. So, and this, of course, is the day after Trump actually talked to the people at Coca-Cola and has them, or they're going to be switching over to the sugar.
Well, here's the interesting question: is when is the corn lobby going to sue the federal government over that? Because that was one of their babies, and that's where all the HFC really comes from, is from converted sugar, converted fructose. So fructose in corn syrup is artificially increased by breaking down some of the sugars, and so fructose and glucose together make sucrose.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is. So that's table sugar, is sucrose. So all you have to do to make high fructose corn syrup is enzymatically digest it a little bit, and then it produces a bunch of the fructose.
And depending on the method that you use, too, you can come up with some pretty nasty stuff. Most of it modern isn't.
It's not. So it ends up being just sugar. The typical converted HFC is about 55% by weight fructose, which is high. So that as a percentage, that is relatively high in fructose. Now, fructose is not digested as easily in the human body as glucose. Glucose is the basic sugar of basically life. Fructose goes through a slightly different metabolic pathway, and depending on which study you're going to believe, can either cause more irritation or inflammation in the body or not. And the preponderance of evidence suggests that that's not actually really a big issue. But what is definitely an issue is that the fructose is easy to digest into fat.
Quite directly,
and
as a matter of fact.
Yes, so it's a couple steps shorter than, say, using glucose.
Yeah, and the process is also less calorie intensive on your body.
Yeah, so HFCs. Here's the other thing on that. Cane sugar and soda tastes so much fucking better.
It does. And the texture,
but it's also more expensive.
Sugar sodas is better.
It's more expensive and it's worse for your teeth, which is funny as hell. You'd think that HFC would be worse for your teeth. It's not. Cane sugar is. But all that said, I'd rather have soda just be soda again.
Well, the thing about it is, a lot of people are very irresponsible in the way that they drink, and we as a society.
Well, I'd also like us to be able to go back to 20-ounce cans. That's the other side of it. Is 12 ounces is not enough soda at once. 20 ounces is probably about right. So instead of chugging down 2 cans, if I just had 1 can, then again, if you're gonna chug down 24 ounces, you're probably gonna chug down 48 anyway. So
you got to look at it. A lot of these things, you have to look at it as a dessert. It's like every can of Pepsi or Coke or bottle or whatever that you have, or Fentimans or fucking Dr. Pepper, whatever you're having, you got to think about that. I'm having a blueberry muffin, or I'm having a pancake here. I'm having a dessert. I'm having a.
Well, the other side of it is I'll use Coke. So I have those fucking 7-ounce cans. I hold those and I look like I'm fucking Andre the Giant holding a can of soda. It's hilarious. But that's about the amount of Coca-Cola that I need to be able to abate a migraine, which is basically the caffeine content and sugar content combined gives me enough to I can wipe out a migraine when it's getting started, in the halo phase.
Sure.
Which is cool and all. I'm really annoyed that I have to fucking know that, but that it is what it is. But that's a use case. for something like Coke. Um, I'd rather have a 20-ounce can and be like, I'll have a little bit of extra Coke in my day instead of just enough to get rid of a migraine, because a 7-ounce can is like a fucking insult. that said, that said, you know, um, so like I ended up picking, two of those back to back, and that's it's more than a standard can of Coke, the 12-ounce can. So I'd rather have it with cane sugar in it because it does just taste better. It's so much better as far as the flavor goes and the mouthfeel. But again, it is worse for your teeth, which is still a hilarious irony of the whole thing. That the thing with less sugar in it, so it's less simple sugar in it, is worse for your teeth, and it's largely because you've given a bunch of glucose to the bacteria in your mouth. The high preponderance of fructose is actually detrimental for the bacteria in your mouth. It's difficult for it to process, whereas we can process it, with the same kind of difficulty, but we're also much larger than one cell.
That is true. Larger even than two.
Anyway. So, rambling aside here,
you could say
multicellular is the way to be. So, rambling aside here, and speaking of single-celled organisms, we can head back towards the government.
I wish I knew what you were segueing into, but there's so many idiots involved, I have no idea.
Well, I wasn't meant to go to a particular story, to be frank.
Okay, well then we'll segue to Netanyahu, because that works.
Okay.
So I'm sure you all heard about the strikes in Damascus just a few days ago. Well, don't worry. From what I understand, Don Treasy, he's talked to ex-FBI wanted watch list top 10 member Jolani, who is now a great guy and a leader of Syria and is totally not responsible for those HTS death squads that are out killing Druze and fucking Malawi, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, the horrible shit that's going on over there, right?
Yeah, Syria is so fucking free. So very fucking free. Anyway.
Jolani is a fucking...
terrorist
despot. Yeah.
Yeah, a terrorist and a dictator. So anyway, they've after the strikes in Damascus that also hit a Christian church, and there were some very choice comments that were made by some very, very smart people that know many words and can say them in order. They were detestable, to say the least, and whatever. Fuck those guys. But that's kind of the sideline to that. So they've come to an agreement. They're going to maybe stop that for now until until the courts in Israel decide that they want to bring a case up again against Benji, because there were the strikes in Syria. Now wouldn't be the appropriate time to look into this corruption charge. So why don't you guys just drop that for now? Wish I were fucking joking. That's literally what happened. Now, to be fair, it hasn't actually been dropped, but Benji and his people, asked the fucking Israeli courts to drop the investigation. Because, of course, they did. Because something bad happened involving Israel or whatever. Not much more to it than that. Just every time old Benji gets into trouble, something happens, and it's secondary to that, whatever the fuck that is at the time. Anyway, I've got another update, and this is an old update. No idea how this passed my notice, because we absolutely would have reported on it at the time and rung the fucking bells to high heaven. So you'll remember when I reported on, or maybe you won't. I would imagine you do, because it was kind of a big deal that I leaned into about the driver, that the PA truck driver that carried a load of what he thought were ballots to someplace in New York, or from someplace in New York. It has been since fucking 2020. So excuse me if I don't remember it perfectly. Anyway, it's been confirmed. And there was a final report on that in 2023, actually. That that driver, Jesse, I can't remember his name. The driver that came forward about taking the ballots from the one place to the next, and then within the next day or two, that place where he took all the ballots burned down with everything inside, and the fire inspectors found that.
Oh, how'd that happen?
Yeah. And then the fire inspectors find, hey, no, that was totally normal. Nothing weird there. So anyway, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, he actually did take pallet loads of ballots from one place to another that then strangely burned down.
A pallet of ballots?
Oh no, pallets. Many of them.
Pallets of ballots.
Pallets of ballots. Yee-hoo. Good stuff. So that actually did happen. There was a final report came out in fucking 2023. Somehow I completely missed that. My sincerest apologies. But yeah, totally right.
Well,
yet another one.
Speaking of other things that you have missed, Arizona has
the things that never happen, they happened in Arizona.
They happened. They happened.
Huh?
How strange.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
So yeah, so that was that totally. And the thing that bothered me when I saw the announcement of that was the people cheering. It's like it spoke to me the same way Geraldo Rivera cheering about the death of Osama. Almost a little bit of thou dost protest too much, and speaking above and beyond the Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
And
like to the point of,
well, it's just like
if you're
cheering, if you're cheering on the announcement that yes, someone cheated to the tune of thousands of ballots to the point where you no longer know whether or not the election that you held had a valid result, that it is deemed to have been basically your vote was taken away, and you're cheering in that room.
Yeah.
That is
what the fuck is wrong with it?
Yeah. I don't have good words for how screwed up that is, and it still was like the response. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, I get that there's like cheering because this is like they knew it and this is their vindication. But it's not like a moment to cheer, the I told you so factor should not be overriding the fucking anger that should be coming out of that. I suppose that if you're in that situation and you've been angry long enough, the cheering is probably the result. Like, that's the response you have. But, like, that's still just was such a... it was a shocking response for me to see that. That was the way that there was... that was what they saw, and that's how they chose to respond to that with cheering. That was just so fucking weird.
Yeah. What?
But yeah, so the 2020 election. So the 2020 election, turns out they cheated. What do you know?
How about
it's Democrats, man? That's their thing. So yeah, and then of course, upon finding this out, Republicans cheered. So I have no change. Like, that's not shocking really either anymore.
No.
That's the standard, I guess.
The times in which we find ourselves.
Yes, they are a thing.
Oh,
so
quick one.
Yeah, go ahead.
As we grow near the end here, I'd like to drop the
indeed,
bad news real quick. That is, we are at war with China. That is to say, we're not at war with China. China's at war with us. There's a thing called the Orange Blight, or the Huanglong Bing Blight, and it has come from China to...
Ching Chang Chong Blight? Okay.
Just about. And it has come to your lands, sir, and is absolutely fucking the orange groves.
Oh, yeah. The orange
you know
blight.
Exactly what I'm talking about, because it's hitting Florida hard as shit.
Yes, it is.
And how did it get here? I remember last week reported on a guy that got deported for bringing over some
Yes, that's exactly how it happens.
invasive
And
plant materials from China. And then there's
precisely how it
and then
got
there's
here.
that tick, that one tick that's really really bad for people. Where did that tick come from? Oh, right, that tick that once was only in China, but now
Now,
has found its way here.
speaking of ticks,
We could do
um,
a Hassan update. That's fair.
no, that's a roach. So I'm talking
True.
about a different kind of wonderful insect-related Machiavellian story.
Oh, Adam Schiff.
There's that wonderful genius out of the WEF. No, Schiff being a bobblehead.
Oh, okay.
There's that wonderful genius out of WEF who brought up the fact that if you get a certain wonderful tick bite up in Pennsylvania-ish territory, um, that you become allergic to meat. I was
And
talking to
I
because of
have
course he doesn't want to skip a
spoken,
burger.
and I have spoken on such things because I might have had such a thing happen. Because
Oh, that sucks.
yeah, and I
That
don't know.
sucks a lot.
Yes, actually, I quite legitimately started getting sick on meat, and
So there's basically if you get tick fever, and you've been bitten by a deer tick up in the Pennsylvania area or New Englandish area,
a
northern
couple of other
U.S.
areas too now,
A couple
unfortunately.
other areas now. Well, here's the thing: is that tick used to basically be New Englandish, Pennsylvania and north of that, and it's been spread by both changes in weather, changes in climate, as well as people who have intentionally spread it because some people are fucking assholes. And those people would be true believers in veganism, like the WEF genius,
Oh yeah, like the guy that said,
talking
"Wouldn't
about
it be great if we could make people, you
allergic
know,
to meat
yeah,
because of course the reason is that it's not just that he doesn't want to eat meat, even though he's a meat eater. It's that he doesn't want you to eat meat, and that is fucking diabolical. The idea is that he would happily trade out your ability to choose whether or not you eat meat by getting you sick,
indeed,
and that'd be human engineering over natural engineering. It's you just if you wanted to pick a fucking Bond villain, the next Bond villain, that's the kind of shit that you'd go for, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Like
quite literally that."
that's fucking ridiculous thing to say. So yeah, um, that was said. That
Yeah,
that is that is a thing. That's a thing. A WEF person has put on the record that he thinks it's a good idea to get people to be allergic to meat because never mind the host of other health issues that come with that kind of infection, and there are many. It's not just being allergic to meat. It's other shit that goes on in your body too. It's not good.
yeah. I don't know about any of the others, but I had some real issues with meat for quite a while.
It's not an allergy that goes away either. That's the thing is if it went
Well,
away, that's
actually, it
great.
does, or it can. In some cases, within, from what I understand, it can go away as quickly as 2 to 3 months. It can last forever, or it can last years.
Right. It's from what I understand, it's kind of years to forever. Now, admittedly, I haven't put this into my calendar as something I'm gonna deeply research. So I'll take your word over mine here. Um, I know it's not a pleasant experience, and it's certainly not good for you.
Yeah, and I'll say that my experience was well, it progressed because of course it did. It started out with I started getting nauseous whenever I would eat red meat.
Yeah,
So, and that started getting
that's
worse and
that's the
worse.
big one that hits you is red meat. by
And
the way.
then I
It's
cut that
largely
out. So
vegetarian.
it's like, okay, well, I'm obviously having some sort of issue with that, so I cut it out. Like, okay,
Right.
fine. And then it starts happening with pork. Like, okay, fine.
Uh-huh.
So I cut out the pork. And then it's happening with chicken.
Jeez.
And so I cut out the chicken. I could still eat eggs, could still eat fish. But, yeah. And then some years later,
sucks ass.
like,
I didn't know that was a thing.
oh, yeah, yeah. Then some years later, my boss actually got this really, really top end cut of pork, and like a smoked, really, really top end pork. So it was, I was like, you know what? Worst that's gonna happen is I'm gonna feel sick. Maybe I'll throw
You'll
up.
puke.
Yeah, worst case. And so I have some, and it's like, oh my god, this is so fucking good. Holy shit, I have missed this so much. It's so tasty. And then nothing happens. And it's very much a, well, holy shit. So I go out and I think to myself, okay, maybe it's pork. The smart thing to do is to start very similarly. So I go out and I get some prosciutto. Because, you know, you get the top end cut of the best meat that you know is going to be the cleanest. No issues. Okay. So I just go and have some bacon. No problems. So I try the chicken. No problem. Make my way back up to beef. Everything's good again. And this would be
wild.
At least 6 years. It was not a cool experience. Not a cool experience at all.
Like fucking awful.
Anyway, back to good news. And that is
good news time.
Indeed. And this one is actually pretty all right. So we've got $9 billion in Doge cuts were passed. With, of course, JD having to come in and throw the tiebreaker. But that killed $8 billion of USAID's funds and also
the
NPR
and
PBS's
PBS
funding. Their state funding
So
is
I'll
gone.
say this. So PBS has some good shows on YouTube. Space Time being among them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Eons is also good. And one of the things that's really pissed me off about the doggy cuts is not the actual cuts, but having to sit through the fucking sob story that they've had to script in to their shows, which is just fucking annoying. Like, you know, I know that shit's happening, and it's exactly what I voted for. You're not going to change my mind by saying, oh, they might cut the technical content that I actually enjoy. It's like, I would rather have the funding cut for all the garbage that they've been doing than have this one good show that I actually genuinely enjoy continue to exist. If you're going to try and pull that heartstring on me, it's not going to work. But that said, I'd also really like if they would keep something like Space Time and get rid of the shit that's like, you know, pronouns for kids.
Well, there's this interesting
that
thing that happens when you have to compete in the market. So
yeah, well, there's nothing else like Space Time is the reason why I really enjoy it. Is it really is genuinely a good show.
Yeah, no,
and I hope it continues.
It legitimately is, actually. There is decent stuff that comes out of PBS. There is not decent stuff that comes out of NPR these days, unfortunately.
No. Well, NPR used to have Lake Wobegon. Used to.
Mm-hmm.
Lake Wobegon was one of the great things that came out of NPR because it was fucking hilarious. It was like an American Red Green show, but on radio. And it didn't last. And that's unfortunate. Because, again, basically one of the better things to come out of it.
True. Unfortunate, too, to see it, to see so much waste.
Potential went to waste.
Yeah. They used to be all right. But, you know.
Well, NPR has always been a bunch of hippies. But, you know, Wobegon was great.
Well, and to be fair, once upon a time, they were good hippies. And then they turned into, like, we hate America hippies. They used to be, like, America's awesome hippies. And those hippies are great. You can
That's
really
fair.
get along with those kind of hippies. But then, they turned into faggots. Is what it is. So, also a little bit of an update. We finally got the full letter that Tim Waltz's personal hitman sent to him to tell him, about the job that
we
he
did.
did on his behalf. So,
that letter is going to do so much damage, and in the right place. Tim Walz is fucked. He said he's not running for president in 2028. Wonder why.
Now that said,
there's
there's still a lot of that case that doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense, because that dude is not little, and the man in the mask is not big. What more I can say than that? Not much. But those two people sure the fuck don't look alike. Shit. And we may never get anything. We may never get an answer. Just like, the Epstein video having been edited twice, and 2 minutes and 53 seconds that were removed from one of the two stitched together videos that has been saved 4 times.
We talked about this. We talked about the stitching and that.
Well, we did, but we didn't mention that there were, by the way, now 2 minutes and 53 seconds of data missing.
So the 1 minute that is missing, we can say we've plausibly accounted for.
Sure.
And if from saying what you said now, 2 minutes 53 seconds, that means there's a minute and 53 that minute 52, minute 53, whatever, quibble over a second as you will. Mm-hmm. There's 2 minutes that is still kind of up in the air. Out of 3 minutes, there's 2 minutes that are still kind of up in the air. 1 minute we can say, okay, the system's kind of geriatric. It's government.
Okay,
so
maybe
it's,
you're right.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Maybe it does throw away a minute at 11:59. Sure, okay. Let's just say that. That still leaves us where?
So here's the big question now, because there's only 2 clips that are stitched together, and it surrounds that 1 minute that we know is plausibly missing. Where's the other 2 minutes that are missing? And it would be in the middle of video that was provided as a whole chunk among the 2 that were claimed to be stitched together. So which half is with the 2 minutes missing? Is that a minute in each? What's the distribution, so to speak? And is it before or after he is dead or gets killed? Before or after the suicide?
Cough.
Air quotes as you will. And the thing is, like the minute at midnight thing, 1, it makes sense. 2, it doesn't make a difference to his suicide or his death. It doesn't make a difference to his death. Like, again, we talked about last time. Like, in that minute span, sure, could he have could have someone have run in there with some pre-ripped up sheets and taken his bed cover and left? Sure. Is that what happened? Probably not.
And I mean, we're just talking about timestamps, and we talked to a lot more depth about what is actually in that video. That being, you can only see max 30% of the stairs that lead to his actual cell. At the bottom of those stairs is a door that leads to the outside of the cell block. It would be absolutely trivial to open that door and walk on the right side of the stairs and never be seen once. And that's just the raw facts of it.
That's right.
And that's just the way it is. I mean, and we're talking here about disappeared footage for minutes, and never minding the fact that the footage that is there literally contradicts the FBI files that have been released on the timetable of events as they occurred. Like, you watch that video, you have to conclude that you were lied to in the last official release.
Sure. So again, the thing that's kind of curious here to me with the remaining 2 minutes of the 3 that are missing is what's the distribution of where they were located with respect to which half of the video it's supposedly in.
Yeah.
And proximate, before or after the death of Epstein.
Sure.
That's the interest that is left over for me at that point. Everything else is just kind of, well, he's dead, and there's video of the stairwell.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm convinced now that you have video of the stairwell. That is what you've done with that video. That is the extent that you've helped me here.
Yeah.
The stairwell exists. I see it. Here we are. Yes.
Yeah, there
we have
it is.
Stairwell.
Never mind that part of and
What about the body?
and not to mention that of the 30% of the stairs we can see, there's a big fucking red line from the pole that's in front of it, blocking a third of that third that we can see. Even it's like, come on.
But again, like I've been convinced that a stairwell is present.
Yes.
And that there's
Now that said,
and that
there have been some
you have video of
great
it.
AI video memes. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna say that was the thing I saw today before the show.
There have been some
was a compilation.
Ones. Yes.
There's a fantastic. Like, I think I reposted it. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the compilation, I'll make sure and put it as the last link for the Showlinks if you want to see it, because there's great stuff in there. There really is. I mean, you gotta have a little bit of fun.
But yeah, the fucking Batman one.
Oh yeah, the spray and everything. It's perfect.
He sprays the bat symbol and swings his hand and the door explodes.
Yeah.
So the focus of a lot of the memes is on the two doors, which are kind of irrelevant in the video. The stairwell being to the bottom left. Yeah.
But
and it's just funny because they keep finding Epstein in one of those doors.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Funny stuff. But yeah, I'll look that up, make sure to include it at the end of things for you as well. But beyond that, we do have, like I said, we got good news. So why don't we share some? This one's very interesting, and there has been this one's we didn't make this one. We found this one. Where do we find it? Of course, we found it in the Amazon. A what is this? Parasite? No, a fungus. Okay, called Pestalotiopsis. Okay, let me try this again. Pestalotiopsis microspora.
Keep up, anonymous. Sorry.
Pestaloptilus. There is a fungus that has been found in Amazon. That
you sound like you're trying to pronounce this for the first time, and you're going like to hiss. Which, I shit you not, someone in my high school actually did.
I think I can do it. Pestalop. It's such a weird word. Pestaloptiopsis.
You keep getting halfway there.
Pestaloptiopsis microspora. There. Anyway, It eats plastic. Doesn't need oxygen or anything either. You can just throw plastic at it in the fucking dark, under a bunch of other shit. It's fine. Just gonna eat it. So that's actually really big. And
you know why that's the big problem, right?
Microplastics?
No, not microplastics.
Or do you mean the thing?
I mean megaplastics, like all the shit around you in your life.
Oh.
There's something that will deteriorate all the things that you depend on in your life to not deteriorate.
You would need to be mindful of where you put this stuff, obviously.
Now, speaking of people who are very mindful about where they put things,
are we going?
Who do you suspect would spread that around?
Fair.
Right. That's a problem.
That is
that is a national security issue, actually.
As a matter of fact, yes.
Problem.
That you know what? That's a very, very valid point. So okay, yeah, be mindful. Damn.
Yeah.
Good point.
If your plastic shit starts falling apart, notify the FBI or something. Although, you might not want to start off with my plastic shit's falling apart.
Yeah.
Oh, and that suggests that maybe the Chinese. Although that'd be kind of an interesting one too. Like, are they going to show up with an ambulance? With a medical team to help stabilize the crazy person? If you say like the Chinese are
they set mushrooms to eat all of my plastics, man. Yeah, it doesn't sound all that great when you say it that way. Oh, but speaking of China and good news for the U.S.
Yeah.
Their National Bureau of Statistics will be suspending unemployment rate publication data starting next month for some reason.
Oh,
who could say why? I'm sure everything is fine. Isn't that right, Xi?
Well, we're gonna have to start watching their foreclosure market, huh?
Indeed, we
That's gonna be
will. But the
interesting.
thing about it is, we'll
Well,
probably have
the
to
thing
watch more of the
that's
business side of that because on the personal side, they keep a hold of things very tight. They are diamond-handed
yes,
people by nature.
but there is one chief issue with their foreclosure market.
Well,
We
not
kind
just
of
one,
covered it in the
but one
past.
really big one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of covered it in the past, and that there's certain there's like three companies there that take care of that, and one of them's about a third of the market almost tanked like several times under under Bryven. So be interesting to see how that goes for them. Um, we had the Evergreen disaster, and then, or sorry, Evergrande, or whatever the fuck it was called. We'll
Evergrande.
see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that ends up going. It might be that their housing market totally dies because of all this. Hopefully not, because you see the issue is, when you have a tied in economy like say the U.S.'s or China's, especially their manufacturing side, when you have a major market disruption like a say one of the three large companies that back everything uh, in their economy just goes tits up. There goes your global financial market if when that happens. We can think like 2008 2009 recession caused by China instead of by us that time.
Yeah.
Um, see, part of it, if you go past the reckless side of that, it can come down to a form of international warfare on an economic front. And China is not really above that. We certainly weren't. So,
No, you can just look at the TikTok that you get in China and the TikTok you get in America and come to that conclusion.
exactly. Yes. So that'll be interesting. See, speaking of TikTok, this is just a weird aside. Not so much good news. Remember that whole TikTok NPC fad that existed for a while? The human NPCs
I think so.
that would just respond to donations with fucking weird um, inhuman gestures. Well, pretty sure that whole entire fad is totally dead now.
Hmm.
Just randomly, I noticed today that I haven't seen it in like years at this point,
Hmm.
which is great news.
Fair.
Well, because keep in mind, like that was all over American TikTok. Speaking of differences between American and Chinese TikTok,
True.
that was a thing that was all over our TikTok, and it's seems to be virtually absent now, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I remember the one specifically, like the people reacting to the emojis and all
The
that shit. Yeah,
donations,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, exactly that. The the people who looked like they're fucking schizophrenic,
yeah. Yes, I remember specifically the black girl that
manic,
was acting like
manic
an
and
elf or whatever.
schizophrenic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's the
there's
classic.
yeah there was someone had like a video that had that today. And I was like, I haven't seen any of those people in ages, and it was an older video of the woman with the elf ears. Um, so that was just one of those things you sit there just like, it's kind of like imagine the same way measles has come and gone in the past couple decades.
Hmm.
Imagine the same. Imagine like the reverse of measles showing back up happening. It's kind of like that. It's a positive step in this case instead of a negative one. It's hey, the NPCs are gone. That's pretty good. I'll take it. I'll take that win. It's a small one, but I'll take it.
Yeah, well, we take what we
But
can get.
exactly. You know,
Yeah, I'm having trouble
sorry for the low
finding the.
energy going on here. It's just that I am tired today.
Oh yeah, no
As we were
worries. I'm
talking,
actually.
as we were talking before a show.
Yeah, I'm slightly
You're fading too.
No, I'm trying to find that Epstein, the funny compilation. Oh, is that it?
Oh, right.
There it
Okay.
is. Got it. Okay, cool. There we go. I
Figured you were
wanted to
sort
make sure and include
of
that for everybody because it is genuinely funny. It's got Dante and Virgil,
Yeah.
so good. The Batman, everything. Oh, cool. I found a thread that started with that. It's got a bunch of other weird shit in it too, but it
Okay.
starts with this one, so it's going in there.
Sweet.
So, excellent. Also, because we are closing out with good news, Maureen Comey. Why does that name sound familiar?
Alrighty.
Why does
Yes.
it sound familiar? Well, you've probably heard of her dad. Yeah, you know him. James. Oh, Jim Comey. Yep. That's the only reason
Your mom.
she's ever been heard of. Nah, well, I'm just joking. No, she actually, funny enough, ended up being a federal prosecutor somehow. And
Really? That's
she
weird.
did. Now, it's not like she oversaw any important cases or anything.
Of course not.
It's not like she
Of course
was
not.
overseeing Sean Combs and Ghislaine Maxwell as they both get dismissed on all their major charges.
You wouldn't say.
Huh. Well, anyway, bad news, Maureen. It would appear that you've been fucking fired, you awful piece of shit. Later. And let the door hit you. I don't fucking care. You got it coming. Get the
I
fuck
do.
out,
We got to
cunt.
clean it afterwards.
So she's
I,
out.
I
Maybe
care. That's
somebody-
a cleaning and a. That's where you got to take the door off the hinges, kill it with fire, and build a new one.
Yeah, and honestly, maybe put in a sturdier door so that bitch can't get back in.
Well, good.
So
Good
that's
riddance to bad goods.
for real. Absolutely for real.
All right.
That's, of course, the same James Comey that we had mentioned previously was selling that now known and proven obvious lie of Russian interference.
Oh man, yeah, that is such a chestnut these days.
And just to add a little bit to that as well, from the remarks account, we have as well text messages that have now been revealed between Hillary and Obama in the 2016 administration to coordinate on these issues. So
Yep.
there's a lot of dirty hands.
Now, here's the thing I would say, and this is actually something that I heard from I can't remember what the fuck I was listening to on the way down to visit my older brother this weekend. If you wanted to, if someone wanted to really shine at the national stage as a prosecutor, those emails, the golden trove emails,
Yeah.
for the Hill Dog, yeah, that still has not been explored.
Oh yeah, there's a lot
adequately or
there.
appropriately. So remember the sorry, I'm trying to wrap my hand with Coban here.
Well, and,
that,
you couple that too with the with what we've learned about the auto pen, and these people may actually be.
the affidavit. Yeah, the affidavit for sorry, the subpoena to get her emails. It's blacked all the emails on the BlackBerry. If you want, and that's the one that was kind of the golden goose. All those emails that were supposedly deleted, they're all on the fucking Wiener laptop and the BlackBerry. They fucking didn't even bother with the whole BlackBerry. The final warrant and subpoena. They just skipped her device. All those emails were on the fucking Wiener laptop, and they skipped that part of it.
How about that?
So if I was in the Trump admin and I really wanted to make a name for myself at the national stage, and I might be looking out for accidentally shooting myself in the back of the head twice for a while afterwards. But there's all kinds of shit in those emails, and this is the Clinton Foundation, her emails, Huma Abedin's emails, etc. all they went after was the 30,000 that were deleted from the server. They didn't bother going after the BlackBerry emails, Huma Abedin's emails, who was a proxy for Hillary Clinton, mind you. So,
if not more.
maybe
Cough.
right. So maybe someone should start poking their feelers around that. Get an idea of just exactly how compromised she made our nation. Because frankly, their baby, the thing that they're protecting, is the Clinton Foundation. That is the family legacy that they have. That is where they built up their wealth and their image, their public interaction. It's not through Bill and Hillary Clinton. It's through the Bill and Hillary Clinton Foundation. The major donations from state sponsors, state actors, that was all going through their foundation. That was not going through them personally. The payoffs, the $50 million payoffs, or whatever the fuck it was, those were through their foundation, not through them individually. When they went over to Russia to speak, just before the whole Russiagate thing kicked off.
Oh, yeah, and they didn't get paid directly. You went to...
Right, that's what I'm saying, is it went to the foundation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, if I was an enterprising government flunky and I, wanted to make sure I had someone else start my car for the next 10 years, but maybe get an awesome conviction, I'd be going after those emails. Because I bet you if someone could take those parasites off the map, off the electoral map, so to speak, for the next couple of election cycles, it'd be going after those emails.
Oh, and by the way, it is the Asian longhorn tick is the one that has made its way over here.
Yes.
Just as a by-the-by.
A thing to look out for.
Yeah. All right. So, what was another one of the... this is kind of a good news story, for the folks in L.A. The implications are horrifying, but hey, good news is good news. So, there's... Yeah, it's fine. Say you live in Brentwood, Beverly Hills, Bel Air, what have you, Malibu. You might find that it's not as safe as once it was. Well, that's okay. That's A-okay, Californian, because patrol is here. All you need to do, you go ahead and sign yourself up. Get yourself a nice off-duty home protector that'll come by and take care of things.
Yeah.
Because that's where we are now. That's where we are.
You don't need the police.
Good news,
you need the off-duty police.
Good news for you guys.
You don't need cops at your residence. You just need the off-duty cops at your residence.
Absolutely.
They'll take care of everything for you.
Absolutely. And a fun post here, too, out of the National Association for Gun Rights. Of course, it says, it's just those dang semiotics. If we get rid of those, I'll leave the rest for guns alone with the classic...
Hold on. Hold the fucking phone. Their acronym is NAGR?
Yes.
That just seems inappropriate.
Well, they're pretty awesome, so, yeah. And, of course, they've got the office name with the guy and the...
It's strange. They are the answer to the age-old South Park riddle, people who annoy you.
Well, to be fair, they're actually kind of going after the people that annoy us the most. So, we need a good nagger. We need a good nagger, and it sounds like we got one on our side. I'll take it.
Alrighty.
Boy, that might get clipped.
Sorry.
We'll see.
Sorry, I derailed.
But the meme itself is, of course, the office meme with the guy pointing at the thing, and the first one says, "The government will never ban your hunting rifle." True. Mm-hmm. They'll call it a sniper rifle first. Also true. But anywho, a quick, really fun one from Endymion here, Endymion from YouTube and Twitch fame, as it were. Commentary on the new Superman film. Of course, as we know, James Gunn has said that this is kind of an immigrant story. Superman is an immigrant, And if we look at the story, I'm not
Technically,
really going
kind
to
of.
be,
Yeah.
mild spoilers here, very mild. We're talking early in the movie stuff, so whatever.
Mhm.
But the immigrant Kryptonian, his father, wanted him to destroy everyone on the world so that they could be replaced with Kryptonians. The immigrant to come and destroy everything so that they could. Well, anyway, don't think too much about that. That's probably means nothing. There's probably nothing there. On to better good news. So I've got one here.
I'm sorry, but no.
Right?
Jor-El specifically wanted him to come here and live a better life.
Now that was just a fun post.
Wait, why would we bother listening to the original source material when we could just make shit up, I guess?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time, and it probably won't be the last. But I've got a post here from somebody who seems to be kind of upset about this. I guess I'm not sure. Either way, though, appreciate having made the post, and it's from some lady at works at I think Cal Science. Not sure,
Mhm.
but just a neat little post about how we're right on the verge of curing HIV.
That'd be cool.
Hey, there you go. Cool stuff. Never mind the whole failed polio vaccine military trials thing. That there's probably nothing to that. So,
Well, don't ask, don't tell, man.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And with that, have we got
We don't
one
have to
more?
worry about going out and cure it if we don't know they have it.
Mm-hmm. But I do have one last one for you here. And it is something, there's not a lot to it, really, so much as I'm just going to share it with you. And it's something that we spoke on. And that would be the Clinton official that got iced by, iced. Bad choice of words. The Clinton official that got fragged, we'll say, by the ATF in a bullshit raid. There's a really nice write up over at the Truth About Guns, which goes into like a nice deep dive into the whole thing. Kind of tells you what all happened. I'll give you a quick read through here. Brian Keith Malinowski excelled at business deals and brought millions of dollars of upgrades to Little Rock's Clinton National Airport, according to his obituary. ATF agent, remember this name forever. Never forget it. If you see him, spit in his face. ATF agent Tyler Cowart. Huh. Very close to an appropriate name. Shot Malinowski in the head last year. Died 2 days later. Malinowski was 53 years old. His widow, Mayor Malinowski, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the ATF and its agents. Suit is damning, almost beyond belief. And it is linked here as well, so you'll definitely want to look at that. Assistant U.S. Attorney Lindsay Mitchum Lawrence, who's defending the ATF in the lawsuit, was unwilling to talk as of Wednesday. I am sorry, I'm not able to discuss that issue, she said. I'm not authorized to give any comment. She referred questions to her boss, Jonathan D. Ross, United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Kansas. Ross, too, also declined to comment. If you ask to talk to me about any case, my answer is going to be the same. I can't talk about ongoing litigation generally. Ross said, we don't comment on pending litigation. I don't think they're going to comment on it later either. Anyway, Assistant U.S. Attorney Anna Drake Stevens from the Justice Department Constitutional Specialized Torts Division in Washington, D.C. represents all the individual defendants in the ATF agents and their task force officers. Stevens, too, was unwilling to discuss the case when contacted Wednesday. Can I call you back later? Now's not really a good time, Stephen asked. She did not call back. So anyway, there's a lot more to this. It's a great write-up on it. We've talked about it in brief, and it's worth looking into because it's such an excellent showcase of what a fucking monster the ATF has become and how far gone it is and how everything's got to change.
Yeah.
And it's
I
good
still
that
say
Isaac
put
is
Brandon
on this.
Herrera in charge of it.
Yeah, it should have been Brandon. Should have been. I know that he
now
would
on a somewhat tangentially related. That's not even tangential, is it? I can't even remember who fucking put the campaign up. I got a plushie in the mail from one of those makeshift dropship things.
Yeah.
And it's Clay to Claymore.
Oh, I've seen that thing. He's adorable.
Yeah, the front says "Front towards friend."
That is an adorable little friend.
Yeah, so I have him posted up on my bedside now.
Nice.
And I think on that, speaking of bed,
Yeah,
that is where
speaking of
I'm
being
headed.
posted up at the bedside, I'd say that's about that. So, everybody, been an
Yeah.
absolute pleasure. Do share the show anywhere, everywhere you can. Anyone you can, anybody you might think might be interested, anybody you think would give it a hate listen. We're welcome to everybody here. I am legitimately happy to have new listeners. So share it around. That said,
Yeah.
all my love. It's great to have you with us. It's great to share some good news because we do have some good news every now and then, despite the fact that it's a
All of
million
your
years
love,
between
but all
every
of
show, even if we make them a week apart.
Evan, all of your love, but all of Space King's hate.
Indeed.
Sorry,
All
I was just watching that over again today.
indeed. Go watch Space King. It's
Hatred,
great.
no lube.
Yeah. So yes,
All
go
right.
watch Space King. It is fun. Also, as well, check out this article from
But also us.
TTAG. Share the show around. Give us each a follow if you're not already. I am Evan. You can find me at That Fake Guy Dan. My man here's Craig. You can find him at CraigBob99. And our missing friend is going to be Steve. You can find him at Ratman720. And with that, everyone, again, truly a pleasure. Thank you for listening. Share it around. This is our year. We're getting big. We're getting views. In case you're curious, within about a month, any given show has exceeded 100 or so views or listens, depending on where we're at. So we're actually doing things. So with your help, we can do some more. Thanks. See you soon.